Noa Bodner, hello.
Hello.
Welcome and thank you for agreeing to share your story.
Thanks for having me.
So, Noa Bodner, you've been in England for the last 18 years.
Yes.
How does a
Britain.
performer,
Let's call it Britain.
Britain, how does a
United Kingdom.
performer from
Yeah.
Israel get to be in the UK? So,
A lot of money and do a very expensive course at the Royal Academy of Music. You get to be here for a while.
what brought you to the performing arts? What is your background?
I always loved music and sort of perform. I guess myself, my sisters, my cousins, we would always like sing and play instruments and just perform at home, perform to our parents and our every occasion. And then I was singing as a young child. I was in choir. I played the harmonica professionally as a child, which was weird, but it's normal in Israel. And then when I got to the army, I luckily got into what they call like the entertainment troops. And I was performing through the army, doing sketches and songs, and got to work with some prominent Israeli entertainers. And it was also fun. And then one day we used to rehearse right next to a drama school in Ramat Gan, Beit Tzvi, which is a very big drama school. And so I would pass through there a lot, use the cafeteria and stuff, and it just looked like a charmed place, basically. And so when I finished my my army service, I just didn't even take a break and just went and auditioned immediately. I wasn't even 20 at the time, and then luckily I got in, and then I did 3 years there, and that's it. You're kind of like, you're in after that. Still very hard work. You're not into the industry, but you're into the profession, and it's kind of hard not to do it anymore.
So, you would say singing was your best tool back then compared to, let's say, dancing or acting?
Yeah, I would say singing and playing the harmonica.
Acting music, which is
into acting. I didn't really know much about acting until I did it in the army, and then I discovered, oh, actually I have comedic timing, and I enjoy this. So I can learn lines. Great.
Cool. So you finish Beit Tzvi in Ramat Gan, and then you start working in Israel.
Yes. So even before I finished officially, the MD, the musical director of Les Mis that was about to happen in Israel, came to see us in My Fair Lady. And he kind of picked my voice. I was singing, I'm a mezzo, but I'm a very high mezzo. And he just picked my voice through some lines. And he was asking somebody, he was like, who is the girl that sang that line or that, and that soprano? And I want to talk to her. And so after the show, somebody introduced us, and he said, can you come and audition? I'm doing auditions for Les Miserables.
Oh my God.
Brilliant. Of course. I'm going to be a lead.
Let me check my diary.
I'm going to be a Panini. No. But I went and I auditioned, and I got in to be in the company, and I got to work with a whole team from the UK, which was Tim Supple, Melly Still, and some others. Yeah, and that was that. I was hooked on their way of doing things. So that, and after that, I think I did another show, which is sort of like the equivalent to Panto. And then unfortunately I didn't get paid for it because the producer declared herself bankrupt, and I just thought, oh, I need to get out of here. And I just thought, well, you know what, I did Les Mis, so surely I can do it in the UK. I'll just go to the UK, and Cameron McIntyre knock on the door, and he's just gonna say, oh no, it's you, the Israeli production, of course. I went right in.
So you moved to the UK.
I moved to the UK. I was here just kind of like looking into schools and studying, and then I auditioned and got accepted to the musical theatre course at the Royal Academy of Music. And so I did a postgraduate year there, and after that took a couple more years to sort out the visa and all that. I had an agent, and the will to remain here, and everything got sorted, and I slowly started working.
Cool. Okay. So you arrived to England, to London, and you want to go and you audition to the Royal Academy of Music, and you get in. So singing was already very established.
Yeah.
And you got a taste from acting, dancing, being in a big production in Israel. What about the English?
So I always had good English. I think I just picked it up from television, and just a good ear for languages. It was very Americanized at the time. It can still be very Americanized. I'm now married to an American. But I spoke fluently and I understood a lot. But there's still something called, just cultural references, which I absolutely did not get, and there's still accents. I was studying in my year. There were people from Glasgow. There were people from Wales, but Welsh speaking. So yeah, very hard to understand. I think their accents were harsher than mine. And then so I would still find myself just asking all these sorry, but what does it mean? Questions, which I just decided this is actually something you probably later on we'll talk about it, but don't be embarrassed. It's really important to not be embarrassed. And I just came here thinking, I've got 1 year, I paid a lot of money, I'm going to get my money's worth. I'm not going to just be shy and go, oh, I don't know what they're talking about, but I'm not going to ask because, it will make me look stupid. I'm not stupid. So I always would just stop, halt everything, explain this to me. We can move on. The Israeli directness, the aggressive, passive, aggressive.
What about the mentality difference? Okay, so let's say that was 1 year, and then you finished, and here you are in London, and trying to understand what's going on with the Israeli mentality, trying to understand the British mentality.
First of all, I really immersed myself in Britishness. Like I said, I watched the soaps because I was watching EastEnders, not because I thought it was something I really needed in my life, but because I wanted to understand this part of Britain. So EastEnders, I read the Metro every day. I read papers every day. I stopped reading in Hebrew. I only read in English. I located myself. I based myself somewhere that was far away from Israelis, the Jewish community here. It wasn't in spite or anything. I just felt like if I'm going to do this, if I'm going to immerse myself, then I need to do it. Otherwise, there are people here. Probably as an Israeli, you've been picked up once or twice at the airport by an Israeli driver, and he has a harsh accent, his English is terrible, and you go, how long have you been here? And you go, 40 years. And his English is terrible. And I didn't move here to eat falafel and, hang out and hear Hebrew all around me, which now, after 18 years, I crave. Don't get me wrong. Every Israeli I found in my area, I just latch onto them. But originally I just shied away from it because I didn't know how long I'm going to be here, and I wanted to make the most of it.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how and it took time, a long time, to understand the way the Brits behave and talk and what they mean when they say certain things. When they go, oh yeah, I think it's good, but what do you think? Or yeah, maybe let's come up with some other ideas. This is really good, but let's come up with some others. Basically what they're saying in Hebrew is, this is terrible, I'm not going to use it, you better go and just bring me something else. But it takes time, because you take things at face value at first, because Israelis are very direct and they just say what they think. It took me a while to get over this whole, hey, how are you doing? How's it going? And just passing through in the hallways. And I'm like, do you really want to know how I'm doing?
You're right.
How are you doing? Yeah, great. Moving on. Whereas I would go, oh, I've had such a day, and then I realized nobody wants to hear that.
That's very different than Israel.
It's very different.
Very different.
And yeah, if you in Israel you ask something and you tell them what you think, and it could be something really harsh, and people who go, oh my God, no, this is really rude. In my first year at the academy, people thought I was a very rude, aggressive, just odd. And then, years later, it'll be me organizing the yearly get together, and I'm still in touch with everybody. And I'm still, because I think, once you're friends with an Israeli, like, you can't get rid of them. It's very real. It's not kind of like, hey, how you doing? Yeah, all right.
Yeah, it's very real. I agree. My first year in my master's in GSA, disaster. Why is he so rude? Why is he so direct? Why is it?
Yeah. I'm not
What
rude.
is this?
You're asking me a question. I'm telling you what I think.
Where is he from? Why is he so open about so many things?
Yeah, but then people appreciate it as well, because there was a point in the year that it's kind of turned around, because we used to do, the acting was mostly improvised, like a lot of improvisation. And, British people, British humor, everything was very cerebral, wordy, funny, jokey. And I came from Bexley with our like Russian, thoughtful Chekhov,
Stanislavski
type of thing. So I brought something the first time to our class where I said, well, we were giving some, parameters to do a scenario. And I said to my friend, oh, let's do this. Let's do something dramatic. Let's do dramatic. And it ended up being like a dramatic scene where, and then you kind of lift your head after 5 minutes. Everybody's crying, including the teacher. And that was a first for everybody there. And then suddenly everybody said, hey, no, do you want to work with me next year? Do you want to work with me next week? I'd love to do something dramatic. Let's, suddenly everybody wanted to do the tears. It was great.
Nice. Okay, so you graduate your year at the Academy of Music, and then your student visa expires, or is about to expire? Or
I extended it another year and a half. I managed to still study other things and extend it. And then it expires. And then I just hang on, just find various ways, but managed to extend it further, then was here long enough to actually just apply. Because at the time, you had to be here about 5 years almost to be able to apply. And it's like, I had enough time and applied for it. And it was before the draconian laws that they have now. I mean, it's very difficult now. It wasn't as difficult back then.
So basically, you just found the way.
Found a way, stayed here.
Amazing.
Yeah. It took so long though that by then I was almost kind of out of the game a bit, because straight out of drama school I had offers from agents and things, but the agent said, look, if you don't have a visa, we can't actually represent you. So that was difficult. And then I managed to find through friends. They just recommended me to an agent. I found an agent and started working pretty much as soon as I got the visa.
So when was your first work? Basically, you finished and then?
I think probably 2 years. 2 more years of me I did little cabarets and things with friends, but it was nothing paid and nothing really official. And I worked in bars and just worked in various other things that I was allowed to work in as a student. And then sorry, my tummy's rumbling. Can you hear it? You can't hear it. Good.
No, I can't. But it's amazing. So wow.
Then it took time, and I just persevered. I really liked being here, and I had a great network of friends, and I love London. I love the arts. I love the theatre. This is why now it's just, I feel so depressed about everything, because I didn't
COVID
move
days.
Here. I didn't move here to be in a city with no theatre. I can't imagine. I mean, I'm used to going to see shows like every other week. And I love the options. We have so many. So once I got the visa, I had an agent. I got a little role in BBC. I got a little role in a BBC series about Van Nunu. It was called Nuclear Secrets or something like that. It was about different nuclear stories from around the world, and there's a big story about the Israeli spy, or the guy who worked in the nuclear facility and sort of told the world that we have nukes. Like, who didn't know that? I don't know. But the world, and got punished severely. So, we don't have anything. We don't have nukes. And originally it was lovely. They auditioned me to be the girl because he was caught by a temptress, but she was actually an American Jew, who was blonde and just looked foreign, and then it was like a honey trap. What do you call a honey trap? They called him, I think, in Italy or something like that. And I auditioned for that role, but I think I was just too Israeli. I wasn't foreign enough to be the Israeli that looks foreign.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't blonde enough. And they contacted my agent and said, would Noa mind, like, we can't offer her that role, but would she like to have like a smaller role? We really liked her. Would she agree to just being like, you know, a smaller role in it? And of course, I was like, yes, please.
Let me check my diary. Yes.
Yeah, you know, and I was like, I had 2 lines saying like, you know, come here, show me your ID. I was a soldier, forever the soldier. But it was great. And while I was working on that,
and that was how many years? No, sorry. How many years after you finished the Royal Academy?
Goodness. This must have been about 15 years ago. So it would have been about 2-3 years after I finished. 2.5 years.
So basically you just...
So I did a year. So I arrived, I did a year, then a couple more years went by, sorting out everything. It would have been about 3 years. So that was about 15 years ago.
Nice. And that was... So basically you just did whatever you could to perform wherever you can, with or without getting paid. Just to give your soul, your voice, your heart.
The rhythm of things, and to keep fresh, because, you know, yeah. I would do it completely different. I would just continue. I would go to places like the Actor Center and just train more and do more courses and things. But at the time I was like, didn't have the money or didn't even know they existed. So I didn't do much.
Masters nowadays cost so much money. How was it like 18 years ago? Same?
Yeah, it was awful. I think my year cost about, I want to say £9,000. And this was a long time ago, 18 years ago. It was a lot more. I mean, if you were from the European Union, it was nothing. If you were local, it was nothing. But
if you're Israeli...
Yeah, outside European Union and that, it was just a lot of money. I guess that's how they make their money, foreign students.
And did you apply for scholarships or just save and
I got a couple, family? But they were like a band-aid. I'm very lucky to have had savings and very supportive family that
amazing
just paid for it.
Amazing. You have to do the most with the cards you get, right?
Absolutely.
So the BBC, and then
while I was working, the guy who played Vanunu, the lead role, he heard me say something about, because I was supposed to have an audition for a show called Rome, which nobody really knew then. It was new. But I couldn't make it because I was doing the filming. And the guy said, oh my God, I just worked on it. I just did 11 days on it. I played King Herod. It's amazing. You have to audition. You have to do it. This is Nina Gold. She's a huge cast. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know anybody's names or anything. He said, call your agent now and tell her to phone Nina's office and say that you're filming for BBC right now, so you can't be there for an audition for BBC, but maybe they'll see you at the end of the day. And if you can just come at the end of the day and quickly tape it, then they'll drive you. And he was amazing. He just said, just ask the driver here to drive you straight to your audition. And it didn't even occur to me to do it. I just thought, I can't make the audition, so I won't go. So I went and I made the audition and I got the job.
Amazing.
It was a tiny job. I had to shave my head bald.
Nice.
Long hair, shave it bald.
Would love to see that.
Lady of the night, let's call her. In her opium den. It was like one line in Coptic. Made up language. It's not, well, Coptic is a real language, but it was like trying to be an ancient Egyptian language. So they kind of based it on kind of Coptic. And like, yeah, one sequence, and I had to be naked and covered in tattoos. Oh. It was a lot. I kind of went in there thinking, it would be great if they just think I'm so amazing and they'll want to offer me, just like this other production, they'll say, well, not for this, not for going bald and naked, but we'd like to offer her a much better role. But no, I did a good enough job and they said, yeah, let's have her.
It's very interesting. You get acting jobs in front of a camera while coming from as a singer in theater. It's so interesting.
Completely. And it made me realize that also I really enjoy acting and maybe I'm not such a musical theater person. I'm definitely not a twirly. No offense, you know, the ones who are, but no, acting, singing, playing instruments is my forte. Dancing is kind of, if I can avoid it.
Well, if I have to do it, I'll do it. But what can I sing or
Do
act?
it, but I'd rather not.
Okay, amazing. And then after that,
And after that, which again was an amazing experience, I just did a scene with Kevin McKidd, and I, gosh, I got another gig, which was again an amazing. It took a few more months, I think, and then I did something called Latin Fever, which I actually did it as a production, like a session singer. So I was booked through a session person to be the singer on a show. It was a dance show. It went on at the Peacock, so technically West End. And it was Darren and Lilia that did Strictly Come Dancing at the time. They were one of the professional couples of Strictly Come Dancing. It was a dance show that was all based on them being really, really famous at the time of this TV show. And I was just singing on it, doing some percussion. But I got the audition through Spotlight, which is unusual. And they looked for somebody who can sing in different languages and looks
nice.
Latin. So it worked for my benefit, looking Israeli. At the time, I think I still had some tan. Now it's all gone. And yeah, and I could sing in Spanish, and I'm good with languages. So I said, yeah, no problem. I could sing in French, I could sing in Spanish, Italian, whatever. Just throw it at me, and play some instruments. And they took me on board, and it was again a great experience, very unusual because session singers, as it turns out, there's no rehearsals. I just had to learn all the material myself, and then read it, and then just come and perform it.
Oh my God!
If you're meant to be that good that you can just read it, do it.
Wow.
So that was kind of an intro into a whole other world of session singing, and luckily I was a good reader and did that show, which was great. And after that, I went and I decided I needed to change representation. My agent wasn't that great, and I did some courses at the Actor Center, and they had a course that was the end result of it would have been oh my God, what's the word? See, this happens when you're foreign. Lose words. When you're foreign and hungry. Haven't had lunch. So the showcase, you did a showcase at the end of it. And you could invite agents and people. And it was really great because the woman did it, because Chris Salt, I don't think she does it anymore, but she was fantastic because she just sat there, looked at your CV, looked at you, kind of gave you tips on what to do with your CV, what are your strengths, and just kind of like basically narrowed it down to something to crystallized it, I would say.
Wow.
You know who you are, what you're doing, what do you want, what sort of roles do you expect to get, just kind of, we all think, we come out of school, we think, I can do anything. I can be the lead, I can be the lead role in that, I can do this, I can be American, I can be British, I can be Italian, I can be everything. Whereas in reality, why would I be Italian, even if I look Italian, when they can get an Italian to be Italian, So it was a good wake-up call for me as well, because I was still thinking, yeah, I can just do everything. Which again, I'm not saying that, I'm not discarding it. You can do. Once you're established, you can do everything.
But you need to get yourself established.
To get those, yeah. And I realized, and I did something that I was very lucky. After this showcase, I had a few offers from what we call straight agents and some co-ops, which until I did this course, I didn't even know they existed. And I don't know if you know about cooperatives.
Please explain when you say straight agents for people who doesn't know the industry.
Is the agent that we all know and want is somebody with an office and day in, day out, they work as your agent, they take a commission, they look at Spotlight, they send you to auditions, and they get you roles. Hopefully they get you seen, and then you get the role if you did. I should say if you're right for the role, because you can be great, but just not the right way.
Agree.
And then a co-op is actually actors acting as agents for each other. So it's a small group of actors. It's a non-profit. So basically the commission that you pay on jobs is very small. you buy into it. So you pay a sum of money, a lump sum, not very high, to kind of buy your place in it. And then when you leave it, if you leave it, you get it back. But this is just
Nice.
to run an office and have everything that you need to run an agency. And then one day a week, or sometimes more, but usually it's one day a week, you go in the office and you're an agent for everybody else, including yourself.
Amazing.
It is amazing because it gives you an insight into how this industry works. Because I used to sit by the phone and go, oh, it's a really quiet period, there's nothing going on. Or just going, why is my phone not ringing? Why am I not getting any auditions? What's happening out there? I'm a very sort of, it depends on the type of person you are. I'm very proactive. I'm very...
Can you not be proactive in this profession?
I think you have to.
I don't think
now.
there is another possibility in this profession.
To be what? To be a bit laid back? You have to be absolutely brilliant, and be one of those people that, you know, immediately get signed by independent and get all the work, in order to be just not caring about, like, finding out what's going on, who's casting what, not, you know, and being writing to people.
So you started being a part of that co-op.
So I was a part of that co-op, and I was a part of that co-op for a good 7 years, where I learned to be an excellent agent, if I may say so myself. You know, when people wanted a bit more money, they say, Noa, can you call them? Because they knew that I've got the Israeli pushiness. But by then, I also learned to be very British, very correct. I learned how to write a good email, how to write submissions, how to push people. You know, it's just, it enriched even my vocabulary, my English got better, everything got better. And the great thing about it is that you can pick and choose what you want to do. And so I can say, as a vegan, I can say, well, I'm not doing any commercials for McDonald's, even if the brief is, we need an Israeli in her 40s called Noa, and we want to pay her 10 grand. And every other agent would be like, are you mad? You have to do this. I need the money. And a co-op would be like, do what you want. Be happy.
Nice.
And so it helped me pick and choose certain gigs that looked great on my CV, made me better at what I do. So I did I did a new musical in Edinburgh. Didn't get paid for it because you don't get paid.
In the Fringe Festival?
The Fringe Festival.
Nice.
It was great. It then got picked up by the Arcola, and then we had a week at the Arcola. So it got really good reviews, great opportunity for me, lead role. And then
that was after not singing for a while, doing mostly acting jobs.
Yeah, but the guy who wrote it was in my year at the academy, so
nice.
He knew I could sing. He wrote it with my voice in mind, pretty much.
Amazing.
Yeah, which is great. It's great. I'm very lucky. And in all honesty, I kept singing. I was always doing a bit of jazz and just singing and just, you know, trying to do, again, cabarets and things like that. And then I picked some other things that were more acting, not paid. Well, it's called profit share. We used to call it profit loss, because you don't make any money. Even if the production makes some money, you make barely money for sandwiches and travel. But again, I picked a lead role. It was okay, I shouldn't say it because they might see it. It was a not amazing play. But again, I had a lead role. I was playing a Jewish lawyer in Germany, Nazi Germany, just as the Nazis came out. And this was all about how all the Jews lost, lawyers suddenly couldn't practice, and and some of them that stayed, some of them that went to Cuba. And it was very interesting. Like, historically, it was interesting. I think it could have been better writing wise. And again, the reviews were funny because they slated the play, but they said that I was good. Me and the guy playing opposite me, my partner, my other lead role, they said that they're great. The material. So even making that distinction. And then I pushed myself pretty much into a production of Hair, which was my first proper paid musical production. But again, it was the Israeli chutzpah. Like, I would not take no for an answer. Debbie O'Brien was casting. I heard about it. My agency sent an email, sent a submission, heard nothing. I sent my own personal email, didn't hear anything. Sent a post submission. I don't think we do that anymore, with the headshots and everything, and a cover letter. Did that, nothing. Called them. They said sorry. Full. I did Hair in Israel, my third year of drama school. I love that musical. It's my favorite, one of my favorite musicals of all time. And I was like, I have to be in this musical. I can sing it. I know it inside out. Yeah, it's such a dream job to sing it in English. So I would not take no for an answer. I Googled the guy who was um, attached as a director. I looked who he was. I put him on I Googled him on Facebook. I saw that we had a couple of mutual friends. One of them was a BBC reporter. So not mutual friends through the industry, but mutual friends, just like random friends. And the Israeli chutzpah, I messaged a friend of mine and I said, hey, this is a bit weird. But this friend was always supportive. He like used to come to all my shows, like came to like and how well do you know it was Gary Lloyd? I can say his name. It's Gary Lloyd. He's a brilliant director. And he said, yeah, I know him. And I said, he's doing hair. I don't want a job. I just want a foot in the door. I want an audition. And he said, yeah, sure, I'll text him. So he texted him, and Gary texted back to say, and the answer was, oh, tell her to ring Debbie O'Brien. No, and she'll get her in. And I was like, no. And this was already on a Friday. This was a Friday. They were auditioning Monday, Tuesday. I already knew about people who had auditions for Monday, Tuesday.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my God, it's Friday afternoon. And I was in the office at the co-op office. This is why it's brilliant to be in an office. I said to the other agent there, my friend, said, so I texted him back. I said, oh, but I already called Debbie, and they said no. They said they don't have any room. They're all full. And then he texted back to say, yeah, but Gary said to say that Gary said that he wants to see you. And my friend in the office was like, do you think it's going to work? It's not going to work. Should we do it? And I said, well, that's what Gary Lloyd said. So yeah. She rang the office. She said, hi, this is from, Actors Alliance. And I'm just calling again about Noa Bodner. She's been trying to get in and you said you're full. Gary Lloyd said he wanted to see her. Boom. And the girl was like, oh, yeah. Well, Gary said that. Oh, well, she can come at the end of the day. How about like Monday at 6 o'clock? It was Monday or Tuesday at 6 o'clock. So you knew I got the last slot of the day. She just went, okay, we'll put another one in.
Wow, no, so much to learn from all of this. How to just do whatever it takes to get there. Now, if you're good, you have a chance. If you're not, if you know your craft.
There used to be a commercial. You got to be in it to win it. You don't buy a ticket to the lottery. You're not going to win the lottery. You have to be a part of it. And so I went in there and met with them and sang, and I thought I have to do something different. So I sang with Stevie Wonder for once in my life, and I brought my harmonica, but I hid it behind my back. And then the harmonica solo, I just did the harmonica solo. When I finished the harmonica solo, I saw their faces, but Gary and the MD just turned to each other and actually high-fived each other because they were so delighted.
Amazing.
It was a good audition, and it's good to always have a gimmick. There's a song like that, isn't it? And what's it from? Always have a gimmick. You got to have a gimmick.
Amazing.
Some old musical. And so I gave them my gimmick. And then Gary said to me, he said, Noa, how good a dancer are you? Really, how good a dancer are you? And I said to him, Gary, I can pick up a choreography. I'm not an innate dancer. It will take me a bit longer. I can move. Like I've done look at my CV. I've done some stuff in Israel. I've trained here. I can dance if I have to. And he said, are you free Wednesday? We're doing recalls, which is also a bit unusual. They don't immediately tell you about recalls, but he already told me when the recall is. And then I came to that recall and I looked around and I realized why I couldn't get seen. I was then in my 30s already. Everybody there was 20, 21, 19, 23, really young, extremely beautiful and fit, very twirly dancers, like proper dancers. What I didn't know is that Gary Lloyd is a choreographer. Initially, I mean, he does a lot of shows, but he did Thriller, but he's a mega choreographer, and I didn't know that. And then we did a dance audition, and I just thought, you know what? No, just throw yourself in it. This is hair. Hair is not about doing a pirouette. Really, it's about being a hippie. So just go for it. And I went for it, and I didn't get the job, which was very sad. And then I went and did this other thing that I was the lead role in, doing. It was over kind of just after Christmas and the New Year, so it was a really bleak period where you would be sitting at home depressed. And I was so lucky to just go out to a fringe theater every day and do a show. Never mind the reviews, just be there in front of an audience and move them, and just be doing stuff. And then maybe the day before it finished, which was a Saturday, I get an email from Debbie O'Brien, casting director of Hair, going, "Are you available to start on Monday?"
What?
I know. And she said, "Are you available? Because we're starting Monday, and I think somebody dropped out, probably. I don't know, because I didn't get the job. You don't get a job 2 days before. You know what I mean? Usually, sometimes you do, but usually it's in commercials you do. But normally, this contract, and that this is." And she said, "Are you available for this period? Can you just let me know? And if you are, then we'd love to have you." Oh no, she didn't say we'd love to have you. She said, "Are you available?" And I didn't understand that I got the job. So I said, "Oh yeah, sure. Maybe contact my agent, and if you're interested, then let me know." And she immediately emailed back and said, "No, we are interested. You got the job. I just want to know if you're interested and if you're available." And I went, "Yes." Talked to my agent on Monday, and then that was it. And I just started like that.
But all of them were having like
the oldest one there, really. I was, except for the guy playing Berger, who was the lead role. Both of us were like in our 30s. Everybody else was such a baby. It was great because I was like the mother of the tribe, and I brought experience. It's funny because they cast so young nowadays sometimes, especially in musicals, and people forget that I know about these things a lot more. I've had life experience to go, "Oh, I understand what it's like maybe to be in a haze, in a trip, to do some, live a bit."
Life experience, of course.
Yeah, so it ended up being an amazing job, an amazing gig.
How long?
After that, and we didn't do it. It wasn't even here. We were doing it in Holland. So
really?
We rehearsed in Holland, performed in Holland, which kind of combined my two loves. I was like, I always wanted to get jobs that would take me out of the country and see places. We did that for a couple of months. It was great. And then I came back. I kept auditioning for things. Then we were meant to have an extension of the tour and tour in Germany with Hair. But I couldn't do it because I just got a job on a movie called Where Was He? Which was Where Was Ed was I should say was a big Hollywood film, which is not what I expected to get ever in my life. And it was great. It was with Brad Pitt, so I got to run around Brad Pitt for a month. I called myself a walktress, but it was an amazing experience. Again, amazing experience. I had maybe 2 lines in it, and a month of work. Extra time, overtime, loads of hours, but Hollywood production. We were in Malta, 5-star hotel, drivers, you get your own van and trailer, I should say. Quite an experience. It was great.
Amazing. What would you say was what is the role you're most proud of, most grateful for that you did in those last 18 years?
There isn't just the one role I would say, but definitely I got to do Shakespeare. So I got to play Titania in a Shakespeare production in English. Again, it was a production that went to we went to China with it. And that had it been here, I would have never been given that job. But again, they wanted an acting musician. I played the harmonica and I sang, and it was good enough to be a fairy, a queen fairy.
Yeah, Midsummer Night's Dream.
Yeah, Midsummer Night's Dream. So it doesn't really matter.
I did that, by the way, as Oberon in Maya last year back in Israel.
Oberon? Oh, there you go. It's that Israeli thing that they're very commanding. Goodness becomes gravitas. And we're classed as kings and queens. of fairies, mythical beings. So I'm really grateful for that, because that made me also fall in love with Shakespeare in English and say, I can actually do that text. And I later on got to do Macbeth here, and it was a witch in Macbeth.
Oh my God.
Um,
Here's one of my dreams there.
yeah, great experience to be a witch in Macbeth. And I wasn't even, I mean, again, a being, so she could be a bit foreign. Who knows? Doesn't matter. And so I'm really grateful about the Shakespeares. And then my probably one of my more recent work, I did A Tale of Two Cities. I did oh no, do you know what? I know what. I know no, strike everything that I said, forget it. It was all great. I had some great roles. Playing for Time is a show about the women orchestra in Auschwitz.
Wow.
And yeah, it's an Arthur Miller play. It was actually written for television and then adapted to a play. And they did it about 5 years ago at the Crucible. At the time I was doing Macbeth, and I got an email if I'm interested in auditioning. They were looking for actor musicians, for women who can be Jewish, who are musicians and play instruments. And I remember getting that email and just reading what it was about, and getting goosebumps everywhere, and literally shaking, because I knew, again, it was like a bit like Hair. I was like, I have to be in this production. What people didn't know, when they sent me, my agent didn't know, is that my harmonica teacher in Israel survived by playing harmonica outside crematorium number 5 in Auschwitz. So he played, and that saved. He played harmonica and saved his life. He saw his whole family go to the gas chamber. People that he knew go. He was playing outside the gas chambers. He played harmonica, and he swore that if he ever survives this, he's going to go to Israel. He's going to teach children to play harmonica, and I'm one of those children. So it kind of came full circle for me. I mean, wow, that's a cry. Came full circle back, and yeah, goosebumps and everything. And I said, yeah, I'm auditioning for this. And I remember stepping into that room and thinking, how much of this can I actually burden them with? Because this is a lot to tell them, listen, I don't know if there was a harmonica player in the women's orchestra, but this harmonica is a direct lineage from somebody who was there and did that. And so I kind of told them why I really wanted to do it, and told them this quickly about the story. And then I played a classical piece on the harmonica, and I lifted my eyes afterwards. In the casting there is Jeannie Schuler. I love her, she's so beautiful. She's just crying and crying, and I thought, oh, this went well, maybe I'll get this job. So yeah, I was very, very lucky, and
Amazing.
and did that, and it was very profound. The lead role was played by Dame Sian Phillips, who's then in her 80s. She'd kill me for saying nobody knows her age. Nobody's allowed to know her age. And one of the most inspiring actors I've ever met. She's in her 80s, and just the detail. She's one of those. It's the same scale of all the British greats. Peter O'Toole, and who happened to be married to him briefly, and all the other big ones. And it was just amazing to experience that. And she was so supportive and so beautiful. And of course, emotionally, it was very taxing. But sort of the sort of role that you think as an actor, this is what you want. You want to feel. You don't want to just go up there and just say the same lines and just do it again and again and again and not feel anything. And that was just, it was so gratifying. Of course I needed a big holiday afterwards, because I remember leaving thinking, I feel really depressed, because once you immerse yourself in the material. But that would be my most satisfying role.
Amazing.
Thanks for reminding me.
Amazing. Noa, your 3 golden tips for foreigners who want to make a career in the West End or in the UK, or even, let's say, Israelis want to make it in the UK.
Let's say have a career in acting rather than aim to the West End. That's my first rule, my first golden rule. It's good to aim high, but the UK in normal times have so many, this regional theatre, there's so many other theatres, there's so many kind of like off West End things, so many things that you can do. Don't limit yourself. Don't just go, oh, well, if I don't want to do a soap, I just want to do drama, blah, blah, top drama. Just work. It's important to work, and it's good to work. And unless you're one of very, very few people who can pick and choose, then don't pick and choose. Just say yes to everything. The other thing is embrace your foreignness. I'm now, again, lucky that I don't always get cast in foreign roles. I get cast in roles that can be all sorts, or it doesn't matter, or some. My next thing that I'm doing, this TV thing, I don't know when we're filming and how it's going to go with COVID and everything, but I just got it a couple of weeks ago. I'm a UK newsreader.
Amazing. Well, I fooled you. Amazing.
I will really have to put on my best accent and not sound very foreign, because there are foreigners, foreign-looking people, but they're all British. They all have British, so you can be Asian but Welsh, and Scottish and black, and which is fine. But not that many foreigners on TV as news readers. Definitely correspondence, yes, but newsreader, no. So I'm kind of like, wow, this is amazing. This is a first for me. So another tip is embrace your foreignness, because you will be cast as who you are most of the time, So don't shy away from it. Don't go, oh no, I have to be somebody else. Be you, because nobody is as good in being you as you. Go figure. Just be yourself, and now that there are roles, so it's great. So just go for it. Yeah. So I always said at first, I was like, oh, I don't want to play terrorists. And I'm thinking, if I play Israeli soldiers and terrorists for the rest of my life, I'll be very happy. You know why? Because I'll be employed. That's what you want to be. You want to be employed. And another thing is to kind of counter that is try and be able to do a local accent. If you can, try and maybe London or something that you could sound, you're from here, maybe they can't place you quite, but you're from here. If you're going to stay here in the long run. But yeah. And also, you don't have to take no for an answer. It's okay. It's okay to keep trying. If they want you to stop writing them, and they'll tell you. Be proactive. Yeah, those are my probably about 5 tips now.
Amazing. Noa Bodner, thank you so much for your time, the sharing of your story.
Thank you for listening to me blah so much, but
very inspiring, Noa. Very inspiring. מעורר השראה ממש.
תודה. And I hope that we'll meet on a stage or in in the ADR room. Oh, that's another tip. Sorry. Question it far and wide. Do other things. You're foreign, do foreign voiceovers, have a voice reel, have a show reel if you can. Try and get into ADR, additional dialogue recording. This is all the back chatting when you see like a film and there's the lead people and people behind are like walking around chatting and you don't really hear them. All of these things are jobs. These are jobs. Somebody needs to dub them. Be those people. It's great. The money's great. Fun. Yeah. Just be able to do everything.
Let's have a red nose hug together through the Zoom. Thank you.
And good luck with your masters.
Thank you so much. תודה ענקית, נועה.
בכיף. I'm letting you hang up. Yeah.